We'll be drawing a two focal point 3D landscape today. So make sure your paper is in its landscape orientation and draw a line right along the middle. Make sure it's horizontal. That's going to be our horizon. Now we're going to need two focal points, and the focal points need to be very far apart. So I usually just use the edge of the paper. I'll put one focal point here and another one here. And those are the two focal points we'll be referring to throughout this exercise. Now, to do a building is very simple. All you really need to do for a standard building is to draw three vertical lines. 1, 2, 3. Using your ruler, make sure they're completely straight up and down. And now that we've got those 3 lines, again using a ruler, connect the focal point on the left and draw one line here and one line here. Then using the focal point on the right, draw a line here and draw a line here. We've formed a building at an angle. So using your eraser, you just have to go back and carefully erase some of the guidelines. Okay, so throughout this exercise, just make sure that you don't press too hard with your pencil. Many of these lines end up being erased, and the darker you make it, the more difficult it is to erase later. Now also, because the building is now in front of the horizon, you'll have to go back and erase these 2 lines here so that you can't see them anymore. Okay, so we've made one building. We can make other buildings too. This building is tall, you can't see the rooftop, but again, we can change that. I'll draw a second building here. Okay, and I'm not really sure how long to make the line, so I tend to just draw them longer than they need to be. Okay, so just drawing 3 lines again. Okay, you're going to be experimenting a lot today, so again, using a ruler, connect 2 lines to the focal point on the left. And using a ruler, connect 2 lines to the focal point on the right. And I can use the eraser just to clean it up a little bit. But you can kind of see here that we formed the sides of the building, okay, but we need to add the roof. So that is done with, again, a line going to one of the focal points, and here connecting a line to the other focal point. Okay, and so basically we've formed a lower building this time, and this time, because it's below the horizon, you can actually see the rooftop. Okay, so in a lot of ways, these kind of exercises are similar to the ones we did several days earlier, but now we're just looking at the buildings from a different angle. And you'll notice that in my demonstration, I end up drawing lots of guidelines that might crisscross other buildings, but when you're doing yours, maybe you can avoid making lines that ruin other buildings so you wouldn't have to erase as much. Okay. What else can you do? Well, you can also have buildings or towers that are circular. So let me show you how I accomplished that. Draw two lines. Use your stencil tool. Draw an oval for the top, an oval for the base. Erase parts of the oval that you can't see. And I formed a circular tower. Again, if the tower is below the horizon, two lines, again, two ovals, but this time around, because you can see the rooftop, you only have to erase part of the oval on the base. You can leave the top here visible as a complete oval. Okay, I'm going to go back to this one and erase the horizon because you can't see that here. Okay. So far these are pretty easy shapes. You shouldn't have trouble doing these ones. Okay, let's try one last complex shape. Okay, by complex I mean one with an unusual shape. So I'm picturing in my mind something like a staircase. Okay, so using a ruler, you can draw a straight line down. Okay, using another ruler, you can draw a line like this. And using another ruler, you can draw a line like this. So I'm going to draw maybe an L-shaped type building. So I'm always going to be using vertical lines or lines going to the focal point. So from here, I'll draw a line down. Here I draw a line across. Here I draw a line straight down. Here I draw a line across. Here I draw a line straight down. And here I draw a line across. And then I draw another line straight down. I'm going to use my eraser just to clean up this shape a bit so you can see it better. As you can tell, it's kind of like a terrace. Okay, so basically it's sort of like an L shape, okay, but it's got several steps to it. Okay, I've done one side of it. How I'm gonna finish it up. Okay, well, it's not difficult now because I know that I'm going to have to connect these points to this focal point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, as you can tell, this shape looks like it goes on forever, so I'm going to have to use some other lines to finish it off. Okay, so draw a line here going straight up. Make sure it's straight, like that. Then, from here, I'll draw a line towards the focal point. Then here, I draw another line straight up. And here, line to the focal point. Here, another one straight up. And here I encounter a problem because I don't really know where to take it, but I'll just trust my instincts and draw a line to the focal point here. Okay, and I'm going to have to draw in a guideline here. Okay, you see, this tells me that right here is where I'll need to draw the final line up. Okay, so this is quite a mess. Let me just use my eraser and clean up all these guidelines that you shouldn't be able to see in your final product. Okay, so don't be surprised if you end up having to do a lot of erasing today. Firstly, because you might be making mistakes, but secondly, because you should be drawing in quite a lot of these lines as guidelines, just to make sure that you're on the right track. Okay, so remember right here I had some guidelines, but those guidelines can't be seen because they're actually blocked by the shape. So those all have to be erased. So you'll see that most of these guidelines, once they're removed, reveal the shape of the building. Okay, what's left over is what we want. Okay.